Hey everyone, welcome to the channel where we talk about all things movies. Welcome especially if you're new. If you enjoy talking about movies and staying up to speed on what's worth checking out, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos when they drop. Alright, with that, let's get into today's review, which is for The Phantom of the Open. I just got back from seeing it in the theaters, so we're going to discuss it here. Alright, so to begin with the synopsis, in this movie, Maurice Flitcroft, a dreamer and unrelenting optimist, managed to gain entry to the British Open Golf Championship qualifying in 1976, and subsequently shot the worst round in Open history, becoming a folk hero in the process. So my anticipation going into this film was basically non-existent. I saw that it was playing in theaters. It was a new movie this week, so I went to go see it and didn't know anything about it other than that it was a movie about golf. So with that, we'll jump into just my non-spoiler kind of conclusion or thoughts on the film and give just my recommendation at a high level. That way, if you're here just to see, is this a movie you want to check out, you can. And then we'll get into more of a spoiler discussion on the second part of the video if you've seen the film and want to, discuss it in detail. So at a high level, I enjoyed the film. I think in a single word, I would say it was charming. It is one that has a pretty good story. I thought the characters were well done and the acting as well. It had some good music, and then throughout it was pretty comedic, and it also had some pretty heartfelt moments. So all that combined, it was an enjoyable experience. I'd give the movie a letter grade of a B. So while I don't think it's one you necessarily have to see in theaters, and there's definitely going to be better stuff out there, I think it's worth the watch and worth checking out. Alright, so with that overview out of the way, we're going to jump into the spoiler discussion now. And to start off, I think the main character is what we'll discuss. So I thought Maurice was a very interesting character. It definitely caught me by surprise, not knowing anything going into the film, that this wasn't like an underdog story where he was going to come out on top in the end. So it's interesting having that mindset kind of shift periodically throughout the film as I realized the story that they were actually telling. But he's a very interesting character. I thought that his optimism and kind of shooting for the stars mentality was interesting to see. I mean, there's people throughout the world can certainly do have that mentality, but it's a very American, like if you were to assign that to a country, that's a very American mentality. So seeing him as a British man demonstrating that and like personifying that like mentality was interesting to see. So it wasn't surprising that it was America that called him over and kind of had that resurgence in his popularity in the later part of the film. But yeah, he was a funny character though. I've seen that actor in a couple, or he was in a movie earlier this year that I'd seen, I think called The Outfit, playing a very different character. So this is he's an amusing character to watch on screen. I don't know that I would be like friends with him in real life. He's definitely very quirky, but definitely made for a good main character of the film. And yeah, it was fun seeing him like I get into the tournament the first time, and then when they kicked him out, I was not expecting for him to go back and just like change his name. Like I don't know what their vetting process is, but it's got to be like, why did they not put something in place to actually like check people at the door and make sure that he wasn't going to come back? But and then apparently I think he was in 6 total. If there's the 2 that they showed in the film, 1 at the end, and then they said he was in 3 more. So that's just, to me that's crazy. But like a little bit. But at the end of the day, it doesn't. I don't think it hurts the quality of the tournament for the British Open. Like, if there aren't going to be that many people that are at that play level that decide that they want to go to the British Open. Like, most people will feel way too self-conscious to be, like, the worst person there. So making it open for the people who want to try, I think is interesting, as long as they're like, yeah, not getting in the way of other people. But like he said, it's an open tournament, so it should be open to everybody, and it's just the qualifying round. So like if you should make that open to everybody, and then if people qualify, they move on. If not, they go home and can maybe try again. So I thought that was interesting. I liked his the character of his wife as well. I think her name was Jean. I thought she kind of complimented him, and they made a good couple in the film. But she was also like, she wasn't just a supporting character. I thought she is a supporting character, but like the whole reason he goes back the second time is her idea, and the movie gives full credit to her, and especially by the end, I know he recognizes her at the kind of award ceremony or thing that they're at. So it was good to see her kind of get the credit that she deserved. But I think she had some of the most heartfelt moments though. Just the scene where she talks about having to raise her son Mike on her own before Maurice came into her life. That was a very heartfelt scene. I thought that elevated the movie quite a bit for the elements that it brought to it. The other characters, I thought the twins, they reminded me a lot of the Weasley twins from Harry Potter, just kind of very like laid back and goofing off and just having fun with life. And I thought they were a lot of fun to watch. They brought a lot of levity to the film. And yeah, it's interesting to see that, like, yeah, it's a true story. So they were actually like into disco that much and won the international championships. That's kind of yeah, it's weird because it's very different than golf. But and then I thought the character of Mike was done well too, because I feel like I could relate most to him, being more of like the practical person where, you know, like I'm going to shoot for what's realistic and still push myself and get a very good job, but I'm not going to jump off a cliff if that's what my dream is. That's at least his point of view, which I can relate to. I'm not saying that's the point of view of Maurice, but I think that's how it's kind of seen by Mike's character. So I thought the movie did a good job though of presenting those different kind of points of view and just giving you the means to like reflect on them without necessarily saying one is bad. I think it certainly gives favor to Maurice's point of view that it's good to dream, and especially, I don't know, it is good to reward people. Like, just because you can fail doesn't mean you shouldn't try, and people can do better, and you shouldn't just put yourself down just because you can't be the best. So I think it had a very strong message, but I think there is also value in the practicality side of things, and I think Mike has a good point to be made, but it just at the end of the day kind of comes down to the individual. I think you need both people or like both points of view in society for things to function. So it's yeah, you need the dreamers, but you need the realists as well. So I thought it was the movie did a good job of not putting either side down, but more was presenting them as a, you know, food for thought. But yeah, those were my thoughts on the film. Overall, those are the main ones that come to mind and that were kind of noteworthy coming out of the film. But if you've had a chance to see the film, I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Of the characters, who is your favorite or maybe the most relatable? I don't know that I'd say Mike was my favorite character, but he was the most relatable. I thought I forget the name of the friend, but the friend that was the caddy for Maurice in his second time entering, he was pretty funny. So it was amusing seeing him just like run away from the cops when he saw them like actually pick up that they were in the tournament as Maurice. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear them. Feel free to spoil away. Although I would probably just put a spoiler warning because this is a little bit of a mixed review, so people don't, you know, people just checking in for the first part of it don't get spoiled. But yeah, if you enjoyed this review and this discussion, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. But with that, thanks for being here, and we'll catch you in the next review.